My family proposal for how to save electricity, water, and gasoline through transportation. In our AP Environmental Science class, we did an audit on our personal usages of electricity, water, and transportation, and we got to see how our family affects the environment. Now that we know, how can we help out? Starting with electricity, how we see electricity every day leads us to believe it doesn't have a real effect on the environment, and our usage by itself doesn't. However, the way we produce electricity does. Natural gas, coal, and nuclear energy all create pollution that has a potential of significantly deteriorating our environment. Carbon dioxide is released as the main byproduct of these methods into the environment and rapidly speeds up global warming. And other toxic chemicals come from these production plants that cause a wide variety of climate and health problems. How can we as a family help to stop or slow these effects? This is our chart, personal usages of electricity, all of our appliances. And from this you can see that the AC and the refrigerator use the most electricity. From the electrical audit, we saw that our household, 3 people, uses a significant amount of electricity from various everyday activities. Our fridge and our AC made up a great portion of our electrical usage, about 80%. And as a result, we were driven to find substitutes and solutions to our appliances to lower our energy usage and consumption. Compared to the U.S. average and California average of electricity usage, the average Californian uses 6,721 kilowatt hours per year, and we use about 3,564, so that's about half. That's good. And the national average is about 12,000. Still, we're a lot less, or 10,000, which is a bit less than the national average. Some proposals that we can do to save electricity are turning off the lights when leaving a room, because it saves electricity, but we do have to remember to do it. We can unplug the router overnight or when no one's home. It can improve internet speed and save electricity, but we have to remember to do it, and you have to wait the 2 or 3 minutes to turn it back on. You can open the blinds on sunny days to let in heat and light, which reduces our dependency on artificial lighting and heaters. But this is much more inconvenient than just flipping a switch. You can also participate in less electronic activities like going outside, and it influences exercise and school activity. It saves electricity, but it decreases reliance on TV and computers. It makes us work more than indoor activities usually would. Some environmental effects from this. If we don't do anything yet, ignored and unmonitored pollution from power plants will lead to contamination of water supply, our livestock, and human health overall. But efficiency can prompt much less mining activity for non-renewable resources and saving many wild species from extinction and from deforestation. Economically, careless use of electricity will lead to high monthly costs and higher costs per unit of electricity. And investing in electrical efficiency will result in lower electricity bills and payout, notably in the long run. Socially, an overwhelming amount of chemicals from power plants will lead to issues in human health, specifically carbon monoxide, which causes respiratory problems, and social division between lifestyle-efficient people and people who are indifferent to the issue. And efficiency might also be difficult to achieve at first because we're used to a traditional carefree lifestyle. Our water usage is also really high and unsustainable. Safe and drinkable water is a very scarce resource. About 0.024% of all water on Earth is safe for drinking. And in comparison to the virtually unlimited supply of salt water in the ocean and frozen water in the Arctic, needless to say, we cannot afford to waste it, and we rely on it for all aspects of life, from agricultural to municipal to industrial use. We get our water from underground. Lakes and other saltwater sources are rapidly being depleted to fit our wants and needs, and the repercussions of careless water use are bound to come. This is our data for our home use of water, and what uses the most is our shower and hygiene, so it's sinks, washing machines.
It's a lot of water.
Yeah. The shower uses 87 gallons per day. The statistics that surfaced from our personal water audit weren't monitored for exact results because that would take too much time and effort. So you can see from the broad data what appliances use the most water, and you can come to conclusions on how to save water. Compared to the United States and California usage, daily water usage in California is about 80 to 100 gallons, and we use 92, which is really about average. And compared to the national average, 300 to 400 gallons a day, we're a lot less than that. We only use 92, so about a third or a fourth. We can take shorter showers, which saves water but takes a toll on comfort. You just can't just sit there. Bring a shower time to 5 minutes per person. Each day can save 50 gallons every day, or 18,250 per year, saving $35 per year. Turning off the sink when brushing your teeth, it reduces totally unnecessary water wasting, but requires that remember to do it. Everyone doing this every day saves about 24 gallons of water per day, and roughly is $16.50 per year. Hand washing dishes and clothes at least once in a while saves water and electricity, but takes a lot more physical energy than using a machine does. Xeriscaping, which is like instead of planting just a bunch of trees or grass, you just plant plants that don't use a lot of water. It saves a ton of water because you don't have to water plants every day, but it isn't as aesthetically pleasing as water-thirsty plants. Wouldn't be as green. It's kind of like desert plants. Environmentally, higher demand in water, the result of water wasting, lead to further depletion of aquifers. Do you know what an aquifer is?
No.
It's like it's basically a groundwater source where we get our water from. So like farms, they have pumps that go underground to get groundwater. Ground aquifer is basically just like areas of land that water can soak into and flow into the earth. It'll deplete the aquifers and reservoirs. The consequences will hit especially hard on water scarce regions like ours, because we live in a desert and we get our water mainly from Colorado and other like reservoirs. Less pressure on the water industry to extract more water from efficiency could allow aquifers to replenish faster than its water is withdrawn, because if we keep using as much water as we do, aquifers aren't going to be able to replenish themselves from precipitation or flooding before they run out. Economically, unmonitored water usage, careless usage of water will result in high monthly costs, and because we use a tiered water system, the more you use, the higher it becomes per unit, and less unnecessary use of water will lead to much lower monthly costs. Socially and culturally, water scarcity will lead to social unrest at principal water sources because everyone's going to need it, and human health will begin to deteriorate because of lack of water and poor quality water. Transportation. The methods of transportation that are currently most prevalent in our society tend to be really toxic for the environment. Gas-guzzling cars, planes, and other modes of transportation release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide into the environment and contribute significantly to climate change. Carbon monoxide emissions are really common byproducts, and they're a big cause of like respiratory diseases. Data analysis. From our transportation audit, our family was able to deduce how much gasoline and emissions come from our daily usage. Our average distance traveled is about 50 miles, and that uses about 2.5 gallons a day. And there are definitely ways that we can reduce our harm to the environment. Daily gasoline consumption, we use about 2.1 gallons monthly gasoline 83 compared to the average Californian. Every year used about 1,700 gallons of gasoline, whereas we use 1,000 for. And nationally, the average is 1,600 and 1,602.35 gallons. We're a lot less than that, 600-ish gallons. Some proposals: you could walk or bike to places that aren't really far away. So like going to the store, just it emits no pollution and encourages physical activity, but it could be tiring and driving is much easier. A 1 mile walk twice a week in place of driving could save $19 per year on gasoline. Riding the bus has the potential of being cheaper than gasoline and emits less pollution than each passenger driving separately, but may be unreliable time-wise, so just use it when you're not really in a rush. Carpooling with others can emit, it's still emitting toxins, but it's a lot less because you're carpooling with like 3 people, just 3 times less gas is emitted, and it saves money, but it could be inconvenient depending on like the schedule, personal scheduling and stuff. Impact: environmentally, outdated cars, like people still use cars from like the 90s. You see, they're really inefficient and emit a lot more pollution than modern gas guzzling cars do. Investing in a hybrid or electric car, or driving around in a car less, will result in a decrease of chemical emissions into the environment and reduce air and pollution and water pollution. Economically, old cars tend to have a really inefficient miles per gallon, and they need to be refueled really often. So basically, like, normally cars now are like 20 miles per gallon, maybe like 10, 15. Old-time Hummers are like 5 miles per gallon, really low. Hybrid vehicles are becoming much cheaper and use up much less gasoline than dated and modern gas guzzling vehicles do. Like, they used to be really expensive to buy, just even like a Prius. Now it's just like 20,000 per Prius. Social and cultural, H vehicles they're usually really looked down upon because they're also usually really dirty, and they're newer and more efficient cars tend to be intriguing and admired. Like, this is a hybrid car right here. Yeah, that's it. Basically, if most of the proposals that we can do are just like, at most, are like a minor inconvenience to your day. Just instead of driving, you just walk somewhere that's not far, or just don't leave lights on, don't leave water on when you're brushing your teeth. There's simple stuff that we can do, and it betters the environment overall.